Maybe something grand you leave behind, way down the line, end of a career, or maybe just a big idea for, I don't know, future generations. Well, what if I told you that, according to global business and health leader George Bickerstaff, legacy isn't really this far off thing at all, that it's actually something you're building, actively shaping and living right now, like today, every day. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really digging into George Bickerstaff's new book, Living Your Legacy, Purpose in Every Step. And our mission here is, well, to kind of shift our perspective on this, to unpack how legacy isn't just built to those huge, exceptional moments, but actually in the ordinary, the consistent stuff you do, how you can intentionally shape it with your daily choices. It's not just about what you achieve, right? It's about who you are and how you show up. Every single interaction.
It really is a powerful reframing. Bickerstaff's work gives us this clear, really actionable way to understand it. That consistent action, when it's really aligned with your core values, that's what creates the impact that genuinely lasts. So we're not just looking at the what's of legacy, the theory. We're digging into the how, the practical side, how you actively create it, moment by moment, long before you might think it's time to worry about it.
Okay, right. Let's unpack that then.
Yeah.
Bickerstaff's book, it really starts by just flipping our usual idea of legacy completely upside down. He has this line, "You elevate others is your legacy unfolding in real time." Wow. That just hits hard against the idea that legacy is some future event, doesn't it? It tells us it's built in the ordinary, every decision, a chance to live your values out loud. Which brings us straight to his first big point. Legacy is a daily practice. You don't wait for some, dramatic turning point. You start today. By being intentional, every single interaction, whether it's leading a tough meeting or just, lending a hand to someone, that's your legacy reflected in those small, consistent choices. It's about presence, he says, not perfection.
Presence, not perfection. I like that.
And he actually warns us directly, one of his actions not to take is don't delay living your legacy for a later stage of life. Don't put it off.
And, this is where he adds something critical. He argues the biggest hurdle isn't that people don't want to live this daily legacy. It's the tyranny of the urgent, that constant pressure of just getting through the day's tasks. It makes us put off the deeper values stuff.
Right, the important versus the urgent trap.
Exactly. So what he's pushing for is this micro shift. Integrate purpose into the stuff you're already doing. Don't try to carve out brand new time you don't have. It's about how you handle that difficult conversation, not just that you have it.
That's a really useful distinction. So it's not about adding more tasks. It's changing the approach to what's already on your plate. It makes me think of that quote from Shannon L. Alder. Carve your name on hearts, not tombstones. A legacy is etched into the minds of others and the stories they share about you.
That's beautiful. It fits perfectly.
So if legacy is this daily carving, this etching, what does that mean for you listening right now? What are your daily interactions etching onto the hearts around you?
Something to think about. Okay, so if we accept this idea, legacy is a daily practice, then the logical next question is, well, how do we make sure those daily actions are actually meaningful and consistent? How do we know they're pointing us in the right direction?
Yeah, how do we avoid just reacting to whatever comes up? Exactly. Which leads us straight into Bickerstaff's call to define your leadership ethic. He argues pretty strongly that a lasting legacy grows right out of clearly defined personal principles. And this isn't just like abstract philosophy. It's asking yourself hard questions. What do I truly stand for? What guides me when things get really tough?
When the pressure's on.
Right. Defining that ethic gives you direction, but also courage. When your values are clear, decisions feel more natural, anchored, not just reactive. And Bickerstaff really emphasizes that this consistency builds confidence, not just in you, but others see it too. They see you're reliable.
And he gives us a tool for this, which I found really useful. He calls it the ethics stress test. It's not enough to just think you have an ethic. He says write it down. Then test it against really uncomfortable, high-stakes situations, things you've faced or might face.
Oh, interesting, like hypotheticals.
Yeah, or past experiences. The goal is to find those potential blind spots, where your stated values might actually wobble under real pressure. He says your ethics should be a living thing, not just some nice words on paper.
An ethics stress test. I like that too. It makes it practical, not just aspirational. And that foundation, that ethical core, it naturally leads into a sixth point. Build with purpose, not just ambition. Bickerstaff points out that ambition by itself, if it's not grounded in something bigger than just you, well, it can lead to hollow wins. Or burnout. We see that a lot.
Definitely.
Purpose, though, gives success depth.
Hmm.
It aligns your goals with those values we just talked about. He says it's the difference between being remembered for what you did and being genuinely respected for why you did it.
That's a key distinction. Remembered versus respected.
Yeah. And the most powerful legacies he finds come from people who build for others, not just for their own gain. And this commitment, this purpose, ties directly into point number 4. Lead with integrity.
Yeah.
When it's hard. Bickerstaff is really clear here. Moments of adversity, that's when legacy gets defined. It crystallizes.
That's the crucible moment.
Exactly. When the pressure is on, stakes are high, your decisions become defining. If you hold on to your values then, people notice. They absolutely remember. They remember the quiet courage or the principled stand or maybe just the thoughtful pause you took instead of reacting. Integrity under fire, he says, leaves a much deeper mark than just achievement alone. It builds real, lasting trust, reputation.
And he comes back to this idea often. He even suggests a technique for it, the integrity pause.
Yeah.
In those high-pressure moments, instead of just jumping in, take like 10 seconds, a quick mental reset.
10 seconds.
Yeah. Not to delay things unnecessarily, but to consciously check if your immediate reaction aligns with your values, especially when your gut or everyone else is screaming to do something else. It's a tiny moment, he says, but it can totally change the path of your decision and reinforce your legacy.
That's incredibly practical.
Yeah.
Again, it takes it from a big concept to something you can actually do in the moment. And Bickerstaff gives us great examples, doesn't he? People like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., his legacy of nonviolent leadership, justice, and Desmond Tutu, modeling compassion and truth, even under intense oppression. Powerful reminders.
Absolutely. Real-world embodiment of these principles.
So the actionable advice here is clear. Clarify and write down your leadership values. Make them real. Align your work with a deeper sense of purpose. And critically, one action not to take. Don't put your title ahead of your character. Oof, that's a big one.
A very big one. Character over title, every time.
Okay, shifting gears just a little. Bickerstaff makes it incredibly clear that legacy is almost never a solo journey.
Right.
It's fundamentally about others, about connection.
Yes, this part really resonated. It moves beyond the individual focus.
Which brings us to his point. Be known for uplifting others. He emphasizes that real legacy isn't measured by how many people work for you. It's about how many people grow because of you.
That's a huge shift in thinking for some leadership styles.
Totally. Encouragement, giving opportunities, genuinely believing in someone else's potential. That still can outlast a whole career. Leaders who consistently empower others, they create this exponential impact. Bickerstaff says great leaders get that their influence isn't some pie to be hoarded. They use it to make the path wider for others. Share knowledge, share power.
And he has this concept he calls influence capital, which I thought was fascinating. He argues many leaders mistakenly think giving away influence, like mentoring or delegating, somehow diminishes their own power.
Yeah, like it's a zero-sum game.
Right. But Bickerstaff says actually sharing influence, mentoring, promoting someone, giving them a platform, it increases your total influence capital massively. It's a multiplier effect. When others rise because you help them, your overall contribution, your impact, it gets amplified. It reinforces your own leadership.
Influence capital. That reframed generosity completely, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's an investment, not a cost. And this flows so naturally into his next point. Prioritize relationships over recognition. He really hammers this home. Relationships, the deep, trusted, consistent ones, that's the real currency of legacy.
It's a true currency.
People forget titles. They forget specific achievements over time. But they never forget how you made them feel.
Never. That sticks.
Relationships are where legacy lives, where it finds its heart. So it means investing time, really listening, affirming people, trying to understand where they're coming from, staying humble, curious, being available. Recognition might be nice, but it's fleeting. Authentic relationships, they carry your influence forward.
They are the conduits of legacy.
And Bickerstaff is clear. Legacy is passed on through connection, through those relationships. He gives us more great examples here, too, like Oprah Winfrey creating opportunities for millions, or Frances Hesselbein transforming leadership through her focus on values-based mentoring. Their legacies are all about others.
Absolutely. And this really challenges us, doesn't it? In a world that's often so focused on metrics, on visibility, on individual achievement, Bickerstaff forces us to ask, how do we intentionally build relationships as the foundation of our impact? He even suggests doing regular connection audits, asking yourself, who have I genuinely poured into this week? How did I help clear a path for someone else?
A connection audit. I like that. It moves it beyond just networking.
Yeah, it's about deep intentional nurturing.
And building on that, there's point 7. Leave room for others to lead. A strong legacy, he argues, has to include succession, not just as a box to tick, but as a core philosophy.
Thinking beyond yourself.
Exactly. Part of your job is making sure others are ready, equipped, confident to take the lead. Knowing when to step back at the right time lets others step up. Legacy really continues when leadership is shared, not hoarded.
It's not about losing control, it's about multiplying impact.
Precisely. Delegating, actively mentoring, truly empowering others. Those aren't signs of weakness. They show confidence. Trust. It's about multiplying your impact way beyond what you alone could ever achieve. So the actions here are: invest in the growth of someone younger or newer, and choose connection over control in leadership settings. And another key, don't isolate yourself from the people you lead. Stay connected.
That connection piece is just woven throughout, isn't it?
Absolutely. Okay, finally, let's look at the broader scope, the long game of legacy and navigating the reality, including our own, humanity. This brings us to think generationally, act today. Bickerstaff points out that legacy isn't just about this moment. It's about the ripples, what goes outwards for decades.
The long view.
Yeah. It requires thinking beyond your own timeline, your own career span, but at the same time acting with urgency now, today's actions. They're literally creating tomorrow's memories. When you serve a future you might not even see, that's when you start shaping history.
It's a powerful motivator, thinking about who benefits 10, 20, 50 years from now.
Right. That big picture thinking elevates your purpose beyond just, hitting this quarter's targets. It asks us to think about impact compounding over time. Bickerstaff says that's the mark of real long-term leadership.
And connecting this generational thinking is, well, it's the antidote to short-termism, isn't it? Which is so prevalent. Bickerstaff really pushes leaders. What seeds are you planting today that will give shade to people you might never meet? He mentions Eleanor Roosevelt as someone who embodied this. Her advocacy for human rights, her leadership, it still inspires generations long after her time.
Such a great example. And as we think about this long game, Bickerstaff offers something really comforting, I think. Point 9, make peace with imperfection. Nobody leaves a perfect story. Nobody. Legacy isn't about being flawless. It's about faithfulness.
The faithfulness, that's a good word for it.
Yeah. Just consistently showing up, being willing to learn, having the guts to admit mistakes, staying committed to your values even when you stumble. Even the messy parts, the growth, the challenges, they become meaningful over time. When people see your humanity, they connect more deeply. When they see you learn and grow, they're encouraged.
Absolutely.
So your imperfections don't disqualify you from leaving a legacy. Often, Bickerstaff argues, they actually deepen your influence, make you more relatable, more inspiring.
A real legacy includes the whole story, warts and all, not just the highlight reel.
Exactly. Not just the curated version.
And Bickerstaff actually suggests something here he calls vulnerability leadership, where owning a mistake or admitting you're still learning something, doing that publicly, it can actually build more trust and loyalty than pretending you have all the answers.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah, it shows resilience, commitment to growth. That's way more inspiring than some unbelievable, perfect facade.
It really is a shift, moving from hiding flaws to, I guess, leveraging them for connection, and then to bring it all home, his final point. Start small. Stay consistent. You don't need to wait for some huge, traumatic moment to start living your legacy. Start today, right where you are.
Just begin.
Just begin with a simple word of encouragement, a thoughtful decision, speaking a difficult truth. Consistency, he writes, that's the magic. That's what turns good moments into great momentum. Over time, those small, repeated actions, they quietly build big reputations.
It's the compounding effect again.
Totally. Your legacy isn't made in one day. It's made in what you repeat daily. So the message is just start where you are, use what you have. Keep showing up with purpose, day after day, and eventually others will be living out what you've so faithfully led. And this wraps in his final don'ts. Don't ignore how your decisions affect future generations. And don't expect legacy to happen without reflection and effort. It takes work.
It takes intention.
Yeah. So just to quickly recap, the core message from George Bickerstaff's Living Your Legacy, Purpose in Every Step. Legacy isn't some monument you build at the end. It's alive. It's breathing. It's a daily practice, forged in our everyday actions, anchored in our values, and really, especially in how we lift up and connect with other people.
Absolutely. And if we boil down Bickerstaff's wisdom into, say, the top 5 takeaways from the book, they'd be 1. Legacy is lived daily, not just left behind, it's now. 2. Integrity, especially when things are tough, that defines how you're remembered. 3. Empowering others, using that influence capital, that's the most sustainable legacy you can build. 4. Relationships matter way more than recognition, profoundly more. And 5. Thinking generationally, acting today for tomorrow's impact, that creates real long-term value.
Fantastic summary. Those are really powerful, actionable points. And as you, listening, go about your week, we want to leave you with this final thought to chew on. Considering that legacy is built in these small, consistent, often imperfect moments, what is one intentional, values-driven action you could take this week, knowing its ripples might just extend far beyond what you can immediately see?